My name is Claudine Ullman, actress, improviser, and all-round hustler, and you're listening to the Big Time Podcast, my chance to speak to industry greats, movers, shakers, and game changers, people who are making waves and setting new standards. Who are they? What inspires them? And what do they have to do to hit the big time? You hit the big time, baby. Joining us in studio. Not in studio, but in the comfort of our own home. Guys, don't you tell me that I don't get you huge bloody celebs on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, go poop crazy for my friend Tumi Morake.
I literally just got excited. I thought there's a celebrity who's joining us. So now I'm going, is this a surprise?
Stop it. It is you. It is you.
I'm like, there's a celebrity.
It is you. It is you, babe.
Like I was about to start texting you and go, who?
Who is it? It is you. And this is, I want everybody to know, this is the second time Tumi is on the show, but I don't care because I love her so much. So I'm so excited. Hello, Facebook. Hello, YouTube. Hello, TikTok. We are live on everything with Tumi, straight from the Americas, which is why the internet signal is really bad. Tooms, I've lost you. No. Okay. So while I am waiting for Tumi to come back, I just want to tell you a little bit how amazing she is and how incredible she is. Tumi is an award-winning comedian. She is now living the dream in New York City, New York, or even just outside of New York. And this is, as I said, the second time Tumi's been on the show because I just absolutely love her, find her hilarious, and think she's so funny. But unfortunately, we have lost her, so hopefully she will be back because, you know, internet in New York, it is first world, baby. It is first world. So she will be coming back. But please, I'm going to ask you guys, until Tumi does get back, hit that subscribe button and feel free to join the conversation on Facebook or on YouTube. As you guys know already, for those of you who watch me a lot, I've been going live weekdays on the Big Time, and I am going to start going live once a week only. But thanks to you guys, I am going to keep your suggestions. So you've been suggesting who you would like me to interview, which celebrities you would like me to chat to, and I will make sure that I chat to as many of them as I can, but we're going to be going live once a week as opposed to weekdays. So that is the schedule. If you haven't subscribed to the Big Time, now is the time to do it while we're waiting for Tumi. I mean, I don't know if I should. Here she is. Here she is. Here she is.
Awkward. This is so
This
awkward.
is so,
So
I mean,
listen,
you're supposed to have first world internet.
I do. So so I ran away from the kids to do the interview, but I didn't realize the room I ran to has really bad Wi-Fi. Because I'm like, look at Claudine and her third world internet. Oh my God. And then
and then we're like, no,
I checked my phone is like, would you like to switch to mobile Wi-Fi? I'm like, oh,
break it to me.
Yeah, when it starts speaking to you in a South African accent, you know it's you. If it was going, would you like to switch? Then I'd know.
We can talk American. We can talk.
It's funny. I listen to the kids doing that, and I go, guys, we haven't been here long enough. No one's gonna understand.
We've been here a week. You know, what happened last time I was in New York? So I was with Danny, and we in New York, and all of a sudden Danny starts. I mean, we've been there a week.
Yeah.
Danny's, excuse me, can we? Do you know where the bathroom is? I just looked at him. I gave him a look, and then he goes, "Oh, sorry. Do you know where the restroom is?" I was like, "No, I'm finished. I'm absolutely finished."
That's so terrible. My husband does the same thing, but I don't think he realizes it. It happens when he's speaking to his American friends, and then he suddenly has the twang. And I just sit there and I'm fascinated. I'm like, look at you, Denzeliki.
So funny. Question one has to be, how are you coping?
Yep.
And where actually in the world are you?
Oh, we're in Virginia. We're in Herndon, Virginia. So we're
Oh my God. I thought you guys were in New York.
We were in New York for a while. And then
shit.
And then shit hit the fan with Corona. And this was before New York went, okay, let's catch a wake up and do something. So this is when it was still the epicenter and people were still out and about. But we were following the news and we were like, listen, this thing doesn't look like it's calming down anytime soon. And we have 3 kids, right? Different ages. And we're staying in an apartment. And I was like, listen, I'm enjoying this apartment. I love the views. I love New York. But I think we should go. Let's go where there's a little bit of sense. And so we drove 4 hours out, came to Herndon, because I'm like, freestanding house, yard. Let's do something like that. So we came, we self-quarantined. We actually self-quarantined for a month. I'm like, we didn't even do 2 weeks. We were like, listen, let's not step out there, because we also needed to figure out how things are happening here. And I was so glad that, you know what, here there's a governor who's like, listen, let's not play around. Let's not be listening to any buffoon who's telling us that things are hoaxes. Let's actually self-isolate. Let's shut down business. Let's be safe. So when we got here, it pretty much felt a little bit like a lockdown level 5, except with alcohol. So, like, seriously, you know, when they said alcohol is banned, my heart was going out to parents. I was like, how are you parenting? How are you without a drink? How do you, you know, because you're going to end up taking your children's Ritalin just to get through. Like,
yeah, I'm sure they are doing that. I don't know how. I'm surviving. I've got to look after my plants.
Oh, your plants, man. I mean, there was just people like plants can be very sensitive. Like, you have to tell them the Rona doesn't affect plants. You guys need to actually calm down, because I used to watch them start to
so nasty to them.
Yeah, because I think they hear all your conversations, because you speak nicely to them, but they're overhearing you talk to Danny about how, oh my God, it's so bad. And then they go, Mama's lying to us. And then they start wilting. And then you come and you're nice. And they're like, no, we know about the Rona. Don't lie to us. We're not stupid.
You lied to us, bitch. You lied to us. It is so bloody nice to see you. And I mean, from afar, it looks like you are killing it, like in terms of this adjustment and just coping and doing so well. How are you feeling in terms of, like, is this forever? Is this a forever move?
So here's the thing. I'm so glad that I've lived a life that threw me curveballs. I think if I hadn't lived a life that threw me curveballs a lot, I'd be dealing with a lot of anxiety right now. So the plan was not to be here this far into the year. Like, in fact, my America trip was literally meant to last 2 months. And so when Corona hit, you know, there was a little bit of, you know, but then I was like, you're stuck in the first world.
There's options still.
There's worse places to be stuck. And I'm stuck with my entire family. I think if I was stuck here without my babies, without Mpo, you know, I'd have reasons to be freaked out. Because I'd really come here to try and lay foundation, to expand my work, to try and live between South Africa and the US as much as I can. Just because I felt like I needed, like, I was feeling so uninspired at home. I was just, you know, a combination of imposter syndrome, and you need something to just kick you in the back so that you can move again. Because I felt like I was feeling so creatively congested, and I was like, I need this. So I wasn't trying to come here and be the next Trevor Noah. I was literally trying to come to America, meet people, possibly get an agent in the US or a manager, do clubs. I had clubs lined up. I was lining up club gigs. I was going to catch up with friends who live here and family. And this thing hit, and I watched my gigs literally disappear one by one. And, you know, the last one that was standing, which was for May, I was so convinced was going to happen, right? Because I was like, this thing, they're keeping this thing in control. Less than 50 people. After a month, we'll be fine. About 3 weeks in, I get a message canceling a meeting that I was supposed to have even before the big show, because I was going to headline a women's thing in New York, right? So that was the one thing I was holding on to, going, this thing will still happen. And when that got canceled, I went, shit is real. Like, Frank, I was going to watch Hamilton. You know when you had your New York plan, like
yeah. Go to New York just to watch Hamilton.
Listen, I had people who were going to take my kids. I had a plan, and this thing hit, man. So America has become semi-permanent, because also it's a plan that, like I said, America was in our plans in a different form, not as, oh, let's go, you know, make it and live the American dream. Now it's become, well, we're here. The kids are here. We've got our documents. It's not like we're not stranded because we are American residents. So
you can work and you can
so I was like, if I can earn a living here and I can send my kids to school, why not? That was part of the future plan. It was something that was coming, because, you know, when you make moves like this, it's also for your kids. I wanted my kids to experience the world. I'm married to an incredible, you know, poor man. The Ghanaians, man, these people travel. Like, his family lives all over the world. I knew, like, I literally, Claudine, I knew it was only a matter of time before I had to move. So even within my career, I always knew I need to be in a flexible spot. I cannot, if somebody goes, want to give you a lead in a big series, I'll be like, that's so nice, I can't do it. Because at any point I need to run. So,
Oh, sorry.
No.
Carry on.
I'm done.
I mean, this sounds incredible, and it does sound like there's so many opportunities. And I understand with what you're saying, like, you know, this industry back home. You know the industry, you at the top of your game here. I really get how you get jaded. What is so terrifying for me is how you, as a Black South African, are living in America. In a fucking oppressive America, and how you feel about, like, your timing.
I know. That's what I said to Paul. I was like, you know what? I have a reputation of swimming upstream. Okay, I'm always swimming against the freaking tide, but this is extreme. And this wasn't conscious. So, but I feel like everything happens for a reason. I'm a big spirit person. I'm not a hugely religious person, but I do believe in timing. I believe in everything happening as it should and when it should. Because, again, the fact that we're here with the kids, you know what I mean? We could have done this trip without them, I think. Or we could have done this trip at a different time with all of us, and then done it now with just us, so that we can get rid of get down to the business and deal with the business side of things. But we decided, no, it's going to be a family trip. It's going to be a business trip. We're going to do all of this, and we're going to go to the US. So in many ways, I'm going, what's the lesson here? Because, I mean, I've had my moments of proper depression, where I'm just like, days on end, where I have to remind myself, we have to get out of bed. There's 3 little people who unfortunately need you to not be sitting in that hole. You need to get up. You need to find the light every day, and you need to make this work. And my depression was coming out of, like you said, I don't know this place. When I'm in South Africa, it's low-hanging fruit. So when I realized I'm here for a while, I went, okay. For about a month, I was useless. I kid you not. I was not productive. I think the only productive thing I did was literally raise my children and make sure they've at least brushed their teeth and they're not breaking themselves or something in the house.
Which is huge. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I had to go, oh, wait, I'm not alone. I'm with this other gorgeous guy. Let me holler back at this guy, see how he's doing, because now he's having to raise 4 children because he's got this giant one that just can't get out of bed. But in that time, I had already purchased like recording equipment, because, Paul and I do voiceovers. So already I knew in this 2 months I'm going to be here, I won't be earning as I normally do. Let's at least be able to do voiceovers. So we were like already set up for that. Like, look at the coincidence, because right now that has been an income stream for us in terms of work. It's been, at least the voiceovers are coming in, and I'm doing a radio show every morning. I had none of these things I'd planned for, but look at the fact that I had the kind of equipment that allows me to do that, you know. So all I literally had to do was get software, and then I went, okay, this is going to take even longer. And I'm seeing people are going crazy with streaming, with doing stuff, and I was like, okay, at this rate, I've got corporates that are now cancelled that I was supposed to do when I get back home. But surely I'm going to be able to make some kind of online offering. So I invested in more equipment. I was like, green screen, studios, lights. Like, I went balls to the wall, you know? And afterwards, I stood back, and this was very recent, where I went, you know what, Tumi, you're a survivor. And the reason I'm going to get through this is because I'm a survivor. I know that with every little thing, once I get over myself and once I get out of my rut, out of my feeling sorry for myself, I just start going. And that's what I did. Boy, and I have sat, looked at schools, online schools. We, you know, when you just comparing, because our kids were continuing with their South African school online, but it was becoming ridiculous. They were waking up at like 2 or 3 so they could be live with their classroom mates, with their classmates, because they missed their schoolmates. And I was like, no, this is stupid. I can organize online play dates. You cannot be waking up to do maths at 3 in the morning. Whose brain wakes up at 3 in the morning and goes, calculus? Nobody's brain does that.
No way.
Yeah, so it's been that. It's been me going, Teams, you're a South African. And one thing South Africans do is go. We just we go, I will find meat. If I must find biltong, I will find biltong. My friend, I found ultra milk. At this point, I'm going, all I need to now find is chicken ligging. Now that I found that one thing, if I can, I want Nando's. I surprised the kids. I bought them Nando's. It cost me the price of my rent in South Africa.
You're like, yes, I made it.
Like the look on their faces was priceless. They're like, oh, did you say that from South Africa? I wanted to say yes. That was my moment as a parent. I was like, this is where I get to lie to my children for real. But then I couldn't. But it was nice to give them a taste of home.
It's so nice. And I mean, this is what I'm talking about when I say from a distance, we can see your hustle. Like, we can see your hustle to have moved at the time you have moved, to have been like, even if it's not the stage, like, you know, to have gone during the time of Black Lives Matter, to look after your family and all the cancelled work. This is what I'm saying, killing this lockdown.
But am I killing it, bro, or did it just take me? Because I had no intention of being here at this time, this way, you know. It's worked out, because you have to move in faith. You have to move in faith. You have to believe in synchronicity. And you really genuinely have to believe that you don't get thrown into situations to fail. Assume you're there in that space to win. Assume that has to be your point of departure, that even though you don't know how you're going to win, you need to move like you're going to win, because you're going to figure out how you're going to win. Because that's how you walk through a labyrinth. You don't walk in there to be stuck in there. You walk out going, you walk in there going, there are several ways I could get out of this thing. Let me just find the one that naturally comes to me, or let me find the one that's been laid out for me, you know? And it's like with this career thing of, oh, you're killing it. For me, I'm like, and you know this, Claudine, we work towards, we have different goals. There's the goal that we had for this month, the goal we had for this year, and the goal we have for the career as a whole. You're so busy chasing that thing. You don't have time to go, look at me, I'm killing it. Hey, let's take a moment. Let's
it's like there's no awareness
there's
of
no
how well
out. No.
Like, I'm surviving.
Yes,
I'm surviving.
You get the feedback from the outside. Not to say I don't value myself. I think the times I do go, okay, maybe I'm somebody here, is when I go, wait, I value myself. These are the things I need to do, what I need to do. And then you can see people go, oh, yes, we'll get you that. And you're going, wait, why? Oh, okay, well, in that case, can I also have a slice of cake?
Yeah. No, that's amazing. Yeah. It's so inspiring. It's really so inspiring to like watch and also see your journey, you know. And what I want to maybe speak about is that journey. And because as we spoke about, you are at the top of your game here. You're at the top of your game. You know, what was that journey like reaching the top?
It was hunger. You know, when you're not chasing glory, you're just chasing something that you can almost taste. Like, I stepped into an industry that didn't have a lot of women, even less women of color, you know, and I just wanted to stay. I just wanted to kick the boys' asses. I wanted to play with the boys. But also, I just love expressing. I love expression, you know. I was writing for TV, acting in TV, you know, just creating, man, creating. And so the journey for me has been growth and learning. And I think part of the reason why I left is because I was going, with the radio, I'm on a journey and I'm learning. I'm in a space where I'm uncomfortable, which is fantastic. It's so nice to be alive. And with comedy, I'm going, I've been through so much great and bad that I need to find my voice again. I don't know the Tumi Morake voice. And it's frustrating because you don't have as good a time on stage as you did when you were coming up. It's like when you start out, you have the best time because nobody expects much. You exceed expectations. That makes you popular. That makes people trust you. You're consistent. You're always bringing it. People start to trust you more. Now you're under pressure to uphold that. Then once you're upholding that, you get to the next level where now your name precedes you. Now I have to keep up with Tumi Morake, but I also have to always know who is this Tumi Morake that I'm keeping up with, you know? And I've been really blessed because the comics I started out with, the Chris Forrests, the David Gows, when I was starting out, those were the guys who were huge on the scene and are still big, but these were people who wanted me to do well. Darren Mall, you know, I remember driving to Free State for gigs with this guy and feeling so safe around him, you know. I would always be the only girl with guys traveling around, you know, and it's that thing when people trust you and believe in you and you go, then there must be something I've got to offer if these people are gonna back me up like this. So I think, especially for the South African comedy industry specifically, I really think we, in a time of hashtag Me Too's and all of this stuff that's going down, I feel like we're so incredibly blessed to have the kind of men we have in our industry. I'm not saying all of them are perfect, but I'm saying on the whole, the acknowledgement of women in the industry is exciting. Like they're always the first ones to give you a chance and throw you on the stage. They're always the first ones, if they see potential in you, to make it clear to you that you have potential. And sometimes their language is a little problematic, where they'll be like, but you can blow so and so out of the water. Yeah, you could be great, which they don't do with the male guys. They don't go when there's a new Mojak, go, you could blow Mojak out of the water. No, they go, dude, you should come back. You're killing it. What. And with women, they're supportive, but the language is a problem, because then it's almost like they're going, you can top this one, as opposed to you're increasing the pool.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But I feel like I've done well. I feel like people like me, people like Celeste, people like Mel Jones, who've been doing this thing, I feel like we've laid foundation for female comedy in this country. I feel like if we didn't have the kind of kick-ass voices we have now of women, we wouldn't be able to claim success or claim any kind of progress in this industry. There's the Claudines of the world. And, you know, I was saying to someone, what I love about you is you remind me of when I was in Edinburgh, right? Because when I went to Edinburgh, I had a very narrow-minded view of what comedy is and how comedy works. And then I got to Edinburgh and I realized, yay, comedy has so many faces and forms and requires so much work. It actually requires so much work for you to settle into where you're trying to be, so that you can grow from there, like settle into your personality and then grow from there. And so when I watch you, I'm using you as an example because you have given me the freshest female perspective I've seen in a long time, in terms of your ability to play, to clown, to use everything you've learned as a performer, from improv to acting to just moments of silence on a stage, things that I find a lot of comics are afraid of just a moment with your audience where there's a silence. That silence is not death. There's a silence of they're going, what? And you're going, what? And they're going, what? And then there's that big payoff when everybody's finished, because you all go, together. You know what I mean? So that's been my journey. It's been learning from new people It's been not allowing myself to be sucked into politics. And it happens. Sometimes you can't even help yourself. It's just in that moment, you're spending this much time with this crowd of people. You get caught up in that politics. But when you walk away, you have to remember your career is not a group project. It's your career. And so if it doesn't serve you, and if it doesn't serve you, step away. If it doesn't serve you, step away. If it's not growing the industry, step away, And then it's trading carefully, because now people are going, oh, you're an industry voice. Your voice is important. Everything you say is scrutinized. Are you supportive? Are you not supportive? What are you doing next? And people, and then people forget we also get insecure. I get insecure. I get imposter syndrome. I mean, come on. Sometimes I'm watching what other people are doing and I'm going, what am I doing with my life? And then you go, in the industry, we feel like you've made it. I'm going, really? I'm looking at other people going, I could have been doing this thing. What was I doing? Sleeping. Meanwhile, you're going, but you've made it. And I'm going, but there's so much I still haven't done.
I mean, what you are saying is just so true in terms of where women are and how we think in the industry, and how grateful we are to people like you and Celeste, who had to start off in this industry, pave the way for us alone. And when we say it is lonely, when you are the only female on a lineup for years with dudes, it is lonely and you feel unsafe half the time. I had my own comedy sexual harassment thing.
That pisses me off, eh?
Yeah. And you know what, Tooms? Can I tell you something? I am so grateful to you guys. I am so grateful to, and I think often, I'm not sure if you realize, like if your standard realize or ever think about like the platform that you've given us women. And like now, when you women start off in the industry, I've got my girls and we've got each other, and we make sure, you said that thing wasn't fucking cool. Rather do this. We pushing each other up. I don't talk smack about any of the women in our industries, and I hope they don't do it about me either, because what are we doing? Fucking putting each other down when we need to be saying, look what Tumi did. Look what, whoever did. Look what Mel did. Look, and instead of going, fuck them, I don't have that, going, let me look at them and go, well, now I can achieve that too. Now that because they achieved that dream, it's possible for me too.
Yeah. Look, it's a journey thing, because everybody needs somebody. That's a fact. But sometimes that somebody that you need isn't necessarily within the industry, because we don't know what everybody's muse is and how it works, man. The point of stand-up comedy is the feel-good factor. I know myself, and the thing that sold me to it is the feel-good factor. I would watch pain and see it in comedy and be finished, but afterwards go, that person just took pain and turned it on its head. And because my first experience of stand-up was Richard Pryor, and in that whole thing I was seeing so much pain, and I think that's a gift when you are able to see beyond the mask of the clown, which is what I would see. And for me, that's what comedians are. We put masks on pain so we can play with it, but we can also see the pain behind the mask. And that's our magic. It's like a calling. Like, I know that people who think I'm cuckoo when I say it, but I'm like, comedy is a calling. That's why there are so many funny people, but so few actual comedians, because it's a gift, bruh. You are speaking to people. It's like you're going to stand in a room full of 1,000 people and know what's going to make them all laugh. They've all walked out of completely different homes. You don't know them from Adam. You don't know what happened, what was their last conversation before they came into that room. But you alone are going to make them laugh. A unified laugh from the guy who lives in a little one-bedroom and the guy who lives in a ridiculous mansion with ridiculous money. But they're going to laugh at the same thing. That is magic, Then there's you who also needs to make the money and go, how do I make this a job I don't mind waking up for at like 1 a.m? How do I make this a job I don't mind having to drive so many kilometers for into the bundus, you know, for to have a good time. You know, when you love your job so much, even the death, when you die on stage, is a memory you
Yes.
cherish. You cherish that death.
I'm sure I performed.
You're like, that death was spectacular. I've died before, but this death
Yes.
is for the books.
Yeah.
This one's for the history books. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I've had moments like that, you know.
Mm.
And it's a one industry that requires so much ego and so little ego at the same time. Does that make sense?
Yep. Yep.
Because you really need to you need that ego to jump up there to be like, I can
Yes,
do this.
you need to be like, it's all about me.
Yes.
But then you go, okay, cool. Now that I've written everything, it's not about
It's
me.
not about me.
It's all about you. Yeah, totally. And I've never heard it being put that way, but you're so accurate. You're so right. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah,
it's like
I enjoy it.
Totally ego and totally not ego. Totally. I just wanted to say something about your voice, because you said like you have to re-find your voice. And I actually was doing, I was interviewing, you know, Dan Buckland.
Dan, yes. Dan
Buckland, I was interviewing Dan, and we're talking about like finding your voice, because I feel like in stand-up, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, it's very much, I'm Claudine, I found my voice, I've started doing clowning and characters, and I feel great doing that on stage. There I am, I've arrived. Whereas Daniel was talking about finding your voice as something that is a constant process. So like now that you're at this stage of your career where you're like, fuck, I'm at the top, I have to reinvent myself. Like, do you think that there are different voices, or do you think it's like re-finding that same voice that you had?
No, yeah, you definitely have to find the evolution of your voice. You're growing with your voice. Every day something different is shaping you, but that's the thing, in that as you're changing, there is a voice of Tumi Morake that people have come to expect, and you want the essence. If you don't know your voice, you lose your essence, then everybody loses you. Because I mean, think about it, 18-year-old Claudine and 28-year-old Claudine are completely different people, but the essence is still the same. So the people who still love you still love that Claudine. And so it's the same thing for me with comedy. When I watch a comedian go up and they've completely gone another direction, like now they've decided they're going to try and be deadpan. Why? We don't know why. What is that? That's not you. We don't know you like that. I'm not saying you can't try new things, but you know that's not you. As opposed to, I started out talking about going to the loo and the difference between how white people order food. And then today it has evolved into, so this is how my body works, and how is it that we are still struggling to understand each other's races. It's still the same person, still interested in the same things, but the voice has grown. The voice, you know, it's like when you listen to singers, man, when you listen, I think about Jennifer Hudson sometimes. I'm like, oh, when she came out, her voice was a lot. I felt like it belonged in the 80s, in the ages of Aretha and them. And then her voice grew with her and it settled into her, and I go, yes, that's the one. So it's the same thing with comedy, man. You know, I think essentially your truth needs to stay the same, in that it must be true. That's it.
Yeah.
The only constant is that you must always come from a point of truth. And the audience goes with you. That's when everybody just relates with you on every level. And I think when I've been here in this side of the world, that's what I've realized, that people have come to identify with. Because I mean, I'd look at some of the feedback I got after the Netflix special, and I would be like, yo, they actually got it. Because I was so worried they wouldn't get it. Because I'd written like a whole new set, then I destroyed that set. And then I wrote a new set, which was a mixture of old and new, because I was like, hey, I'm going to lose people. And then I realized, you know what? If you're being authentic, and if you are being true to your point of departure, people are with you all the way. Because, you know, I've also done a couple of gigs this side. And yeah, I've gone, they're laughing. You know, when people are laughing and you almost like, you're taken aback, and then you go, but why should I be surprised? I'm supposed to be funny. Stop it.
Totally. Let's actually talk about the Netflix special for a moment. So you've done Comedians of the World, which is huge, and I've watched it. It's hilarious. What happens in your body I just want to know because I feel like I haven't experienced that level, and it's like such a big dream of mine. What happens in your body?
Total shutdown.
You get a
Total
call.
shutdown. There was there was an email. My brain sent an email to the rest of the body. The rest of the body said, "Sir, we don't know how to handle." The brain was like, "Listen, it's a lot for me also. What are we doing?" And they said, "Guys, I think let's just take a 1 minute breather." And then my whole entire body went, "Okay, we're taking a breather." Because you won't believe the first words that came out of my mouth were, "I don't think I'm ready."
Really?
Yes.
It's so terrifying. I'm sure it's terrifying and amazing. And yeah.
I'm paused like, sorry, hi, did I hear you correctly that you're being offered an opportunity to be on Netflix all over the world and you are saying you are not, you will make yourself ready. This is Netflix.
How long did you have, Tooms?
I had a month. I found out now, and they were like, in a month, you need to. I was like, where? Now that time, mind you, I am doing. I've got a TV show that I do, and it runs from like late night, right? I get home just around midnight, and I have to prep for it the whole day. And I was shooting on a soapy. And I was shooting Point of Order. So I had been juggling things, right? And then I must also, and I was writing, on a film. And then I must now find the time to go to clubs to do this thing. And I was like, this is, how am I felt so unprepared because this is the magic of comedy. Once you become popular in comedy, you get to do everything else except comedy. It opens doors for you to do everything except that. So you don't spend enough time honing the craft like you should. And I'm a purist. I don't have writers. I've tried it. I've reached out to people and gone, hey, maybe we'll have a conversation, see how this thing will work. And it's actually occurred to me that not a single one of them have I actually sat with and gone through material with because my voice is so specific to me. So now I'm going to need help. I'm going to need to speak to someone who knows my comedy, who understands how I think and function. And again, this is when the magic of the industry came through because the people who carried me through this were Loyiso Madinga, who was already on the lineup as well. And we from South Africa already, he was just giving me feedback because I was telling him this is what I want to do. And since I'd never performed that side, but they had, he was able to at least like say, no, man, just don't make it too, the things that people don't know about South Africa. Let me not make those points of reference. Sharp. Get to Montreal and literally everyone came to watch and gave me notes. I'm talking Loyiso Gola, Takunda Bima. I think Riyad came through as well. And they had notes. When comedians give you notes, you park your ego, bruh. You don't go, who are you to tell me? You actually have to sit and listen. Yes, it's important. And so I said, in fact, it's made me think that's what I need. I need to somehow get myself someone who can travel to gigs with me, make notes for me, and we go through this stuff together. That's what I think I should try. Because I think the writer thing's not going to work out for me. But anyway, so that's what we did. I got my feedback. Because also there was no time. It's not don't think, oh, I'm going to be in a Netflix special. Everyone will put me on their stage when I get to JFL. No, my friend. I was able to only get into all of 2 shows. 2. I could only do 2 practice runs. The first one was just me by myself, which was fantastic. And I got to do the whole show and tweak it and whatever. The second one, I was the only South African on a lineup of LA comedians. So...
I've got cold shivers. I'm going. I think my brain would just go self-sabotage. Like, wow, this actually years, and it's like testament to how great you are as a comedian.
Friend, you don't understand.
Yeah,
I ended up with an ulcer. Do you know that? I ended up with an ulcer. I actually had to be treated for a peptic ulcer. Had to be on medication. And the doctor was like, this is stress-induced. We are looking at your diet. There's no reason why you should be suffering like this. And he was like, what's going on? And I was like, yeah, it's Netflix. But you know what is a great payoff? So I'm walking, minding my own business there in Montreal. I'm off to go grab a bite. And the city goes, oh my God, you're not South African. Oh my God, you're so funny. Oh my God. And I was like, Guys, I just got
Yes, I am.
spotted.
Yes, I
I've
am.
been spotted in Canada. I've
Oh,
made
that's
it.
amazing.
That time
You
I go to
have-
Paul. So I said to Paul, I'm like, babes, do we still have to go to America? Shouldn't we go to Canada? Because I think I'll be big in Canada.
And he's like, no, we're going to America.
He's
Thank
like,
no. I mean, that is incredible. That is incredible. What I want to know is, has anything topped that? And was that moment, like, did you reach that moment? This is it, I've hit the big time.
I really want the moment where I'm going to say I've hit the big time. I'm really looking forward to that moment where I'm going to say I've hit the big time. I feel like I came really close with that Comedians of the World. But, you know, my most precious experience has been my one-man shows. Doing Her Story, the first time I saw a room filled with people who came specifically to watch me, meant everything to me, you know? Actually, I had Lira in the audience, and I was like, guys, this is a famous musician who's also freaking amazing, who's sitting in the balcony to watch my show for no reason. Didn't give me a call to be like, teams, I'll be a chair so that, you know, we can put it in the clippers. Like, it's insane.
No, it's insane.
And what makes me, like, what also made it special for me is the room. The makeup of the room means everything to me, Claudine. I had Indian, white, black, colored. I was taking register. I was like, I need to know the races in the room, because this is South Africa, and anything that unites this country on that level is something special. And if this is what the room I'm performing in looks like, I'm onto something really special. So I feel like, yes, I think I'm going to honestly even declare that I've made it the day Netflix comes to me and says, yo, so here's a couple of million, or here's a bar.
I'll take one.
I'll take one. I'll even take one. Just as long as it's a bar.
I'll take a half.
Claudine, it's a number. It's about the number of zeros, my friend.
Exactly. I'm like, I'll take food. I'll take anything.
If they come and they go, here's 7 figures, bring us a special. Honestly, for me, that would be me having made it, because it would mean, in fact, not even just Netflix. I'm talking anyone. Let me actually be specific, because I'm saying Netflix because it's easily recognizable. I'm saying the minute anyone comes to me and says they're going to invest in me on that level, they trust me on that level, I'm going to say I've made it. So far, my big success is I've kept my marriage. My children don't need too much therapy.
They'll see when they're older. They probably still won't. That's what having kids is about. You're gonna fuck them up in some way, but totally. That's why I think it's
if I don't destroy these people, I'm happy.
I'm holding that vision for you.
Yeah.
It is going to happen. Yeah. I am going to be watching your journey. I am not only do I consider you a beautiful friend of mine, but I just am you are like a mentor to me. I'm so inspired by you. No, babes, I'm being serious here.
Claudine.
I'm being serious.
Claudine always has a plan, guys. If you're watching Claudine, then I mean you've known her long enough to know she always has a plan. So this thing of, hey, you're my mentor. No. Claudine, we are also learning from her.
Opening act. Tumi's opening act at her Netflix special. That's the whole reason I'm having it.
It will be Claudine. Yes. And then we'll also have a film that'll come out, and
But seriously, I just bloody adore you. I love you so much. You are such an inspiration.
Thanks,
I'm so happy that you are doing so well.
Thank you.
Thank you for spending an hour with me on the big time. I just totally bloody adore you. And where can we catch you? Either lockdown, post-lockdown?
Oh, yes. Oh, so
no, what can you punt? What can you punt?
So my friend and I, Ludomiso Lindy, you know him, hey?
I love
Ludomiso.
him.
He's
Yes.
fantastic. So we're doing a show called Married But Not to Each Other on the 9th of August, Women's Day. Yay! We're doing Married But Not to Each Other.
Live comedy show.
Yes. It's going to be streaming it on Ticket Pro. Yeah, so check it out. We've posted it all over our socials. If you want to get the details, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Per. So go there. We've posted it up there. It's called Married But Not to Each Other Lockdown Edition. I'm also on Netflix. There's a film that's coming out. And it's gonna be on Netflix.
I'm watching it.
So let's make this the most watched film, please. Let's beat Tiger King. Okay, it's hard to beat Tiger King, but
it's going to be Tiger King. That's amazing. That's amazing. We're going to be watching it. Is this a singles movie?
Oh yes, Seriously Single. It's called Seriously Single, which is really cool. Do you know how exciting it was to reach into my single self? Do you even remember your single self, Claudine? You know how deep you must dig to remember that girl?
I don't. Except I just want to say Tumi looks so fucking hot in this movie. Like she would post like behind the scenes and she's got like this cute little blonde wig. And I was like, hello?
I miss that hair so much.
You should so be blonde. So cute.
I think my next life I'm coming back as a blonde Jewish woman. Gay, I have to be gay. I can't be straight. I have to be gay. I have to be gay because I want to be like, yeah.
No. Come on. We're welcoming you to the community with open arms. You know that. I adore you so much. I love you. Thank you for being on the show, my darling.
Thanks for having me, Claude.
Much love. Guys, I'm sorry. Tumi Morake! If you are not following her on all of the socials, what are you doing with your lives? Please make sure that you do that. As she says, she is on Netflix at the moment. So make sure that you are following on all of the socials. Please keep suggestions coming of who you would like me to interview. I am going to be moving the big time to once a week. We're probably going to do it on a Friday. So let me know. If you have not yet done it, hit subscribe, kids. Hit subscribe. Follow me on TikTok. Follow me on Facebook. And I will keep the content coming. You guys are amazing. For another episode. That was another episode of The Big Time. I adore you guys. Bye.